Hey, what's up, guys? It's the Film Geek here, and yesterday I went and saw Avatar in IMAX 3D. Now, the only reason I went to the IMAX to see it was I did an online comparison of prices and found out that the IMAX was only a whopping 25 cents more than it would have been at any other theater. So, I figured for a quarter, why not? The IMAX experience was pretty cool. The sound system in the place was amazing. Like, sounds were coming out of all different sides, and it was so booming that my feet were like shaking on the floor. It was awesome. But I didn't like the 3D glasses because they were like pressing out from my forehead and just barely fitting on the tip of my nose. I kind of prefer my normal movie theaters 3D glasses that just kind of fit right over my normal glasses. But the actual theater experience itself aside, let's get down to the movie. Let's go to IMDb, Avatar, so we can look at what the actors' names are, because many of the actors I honestly didn't recognize. First and foremost, I always gotta say something good to start with. The visual effects in this movie is fucking amazing. Especially the use of color. The colors in this movie are so vibrant and so in your face, and they just kind of pop. It was absolutely gorgeous to look at. However, I am not a fan of 3D. You guys know that. I don't like watching 3D movies, especially when I don't feel like the 3D is worth it. And in the case of Avatar, I don't think the 3D was worth it, and here's why. Some of it was cool, like the subtitles when they were speaking in the native language kind of popped off the screen. That part was cool. And when he's giving his little recordings, when he's talking into a camera like this, and you've got like the time code was kind of popping off the screen, that was cool. But most of the thing is, the whole point of the 3D is to make the foreground pop in your face, leaving the background as a separate entity entirely. In this movie, that almost never happened. There were a few times going through, like near the beginning when they first go into the forest or woods or whatever you want to call it, forest I guess, where like some of the leaves were like up in your face. But most of the time, the foreground and the background fit so seamlessly together. There wasn't that three-dimensional thing. Like, it didn't feel like this. It felt like this. So I feel like I could have had the exact same movie experience had I seen it in 2D. I think the 3D was useless and a total waste of the extra $3. Second off, the acting. In my opinion, for the most part, the acting was decent, but not amazing. The only amazing actress was Natiri, who we never actually see her face, we just hear the voice, so it's really voice acting, played by Zoe Saldana. She was in Star Trek, but you don't see her face, so you don't really know it's her. It's just the voice acting. So she, of all the natives, she was the best. Of the actual people, I thought that they were all kind of there, like it was, I don't know, it like the acting felt like like TV movie to me. Like it was better than a TV show, but not really theatrical worthy, in my opinion. The story was actually pretty cool. I like the story. It was a combination of a bunch of other stories. I've heard one person told me that it's basically Pocahontas with Smurfs, and that's actually kind of an accurate portrayal of the story. But I think it kind of worked in its own way. There were parts of it that were like kind of like you knew it was coming, kind of predictable. And there were parts of it that were like, holy crap, did not expect that. That was just sweet. And then there were also parts that were like, what? Really? That's ridiculous. Like there's one particular scene near the end that I'm not going to tell you about in case you haven't seen it. But those of you who know what I'm talking about know what I'm talking about. where you find out that they can, we'll just say they can do something to try and save someone, but it's such a ridiculous idea that it just kind of pulls me out of the movie, and I'm like, what? They could do this the whole time? What? This is ridiculous. It's like, I didn't like it. That particular sequence specifically kind of pissed me off. Back to good stuff, though. The fighting sequences were freaking fantabulous. You know, they were out of this world, literally and pun intended. It was just awesome to see these fight sequences. However, it took so long to get there. Like, yes, there was a great story building up, but it felt like at certain points it felt like it was like a lot of build up. You know, like too much build up, not enough payoff, if that makes sense. But all in all, I thought it was still a really, really good movie. I don't think it was, like, I wasn't gushing over it as much as a lot of people I've seen are, but I still thought it was really damn good, and you should definitely check it out. I'm going to give Avatar 4.5 out of 5. It kind of loses a little bit for some of the crappiness in it. In fact, you know what? It's not good enough for 4.5. Let's just call it a 4, because I don't feel good enough about it to give it 4.5, because that would mean that there was only like one scene that kind of pissed me off, but there were multiple things. It was just, that was the one that annoyed me the most. So we're gonna give it a 4 out of 5. So ignore that 4.5 from before. We're gonna call it a 4 out of 5. Avatar. Check it out. You guys are probably going to bombard me with hate mail because I didn't give it a perfect score. But hey, 4 out of 5 isn't bad. That's actually really damn good, considering most of the time I only give like 3s, 3.5s, you know. So bear with me on this. I think it was good. It definitely deserves an Oscar for its visual effects. But I don't know. The rest of it was really good, but not quite best of the year like everyone keeps saying it is. But the visual effects alone you should see it just for the visual effects. If anything, you get 2.5 hours of gorgeous screen time.